All right, everybody, we're chatting teams. So we've got Robbie with us, spilling the tea on all things team, and can't wait to learn. So let's hit the ground running. Robbie, what do you got for us?
Yep, perfect. So basically, I as an individual agent, I never wanted to start a team. I always wanted to be a solo agent. And as we grew with my organization with Downline, we had agents that kind of wanted to all work under one name, not just like EXP. As EXP grew too, it kind of became this like, well, EXP isn't really this little brand anymore. It's this big brand. So we wanted to be more specific, have like the sub brand or sub brokerage underneath. And so one of my partners, a guy that I had recruited to come in, he was a graphic designer by trade, came in, started messing with some logos, with some designs, and ended up making this really cool concept, and basically recruited me to be team leader with him and do all this fun stuff. So as we go now, when I present EXP to other people, I am giving them two options. I'm like, okay, if you're local and you want to be part of this gold label team, you can be part of this gold label team. I'll get to what's involved with that in a second. And then if not, you want to just get all the benefits of EXP Realty, you can come over here. You still have me as your sponsor, support, the whole deal, and you get all the same benefits, but you can go create your own brand, whatever you want to do. So with the team now, and we have 16 agents. So for example, I have 42 agents in my organization, 16 are on the gold label team or roster. What we decided to do, and we've been playing with it a little bit, we've been a team officially, I think, for a year and a half. And we've tried different things, and this current concept seems to have worked the most. When you come on board, we make you sign a team agreement, basically stating that for to join us, the initial fee is $500. If you're a new agent and you're in the mentor program, we won't charge you the $500 until after you've completed your first 3 deals and you've done that, because we don't want to, obviously we know money's important, especially when you're first starting out. Money's important, and we don't want to nickel and dime you when you're already paying that extra 20% for the EXP University and the mentor. So after your first 3 deals, if you're a brand new agent, we will take $500 out of your 4th deal. That goes to us for all the graphic design work that we do. We provide you with signs. We provide you with personal riders. We're going to do 4 events per year, 1 per quarter, that are client appreciation events that we are going to personally pay for, or the gold label is going to pay for. And that is going to help you so that we can market them. You can then invite your clients, your prospects to these events, and just make it a whole team thing. The other thing that we do is we're providing leads to the agents. So we came up with a lead source that we liked. We're still experimenting with different ones, but we provide leads to the agents. And if it's a lead that we provided you, if it's a seller lead, we're going to take a 50% referral fee. And if it's a buyer lead, we're going to take a 25% referral fee. And then anything self-generated organically on your own would be your just regular 80-20 split with EXP.
So Robbie, yes. Because you're a self-organized team, this was the piece I needed help understanding and grasping a little bit. So as a self-organized team, you already, that agent, so let's say I was on your team, right? I already 80-20 split, but then if it's a seller lead you gave me, you taking an additional 50%?
Yep. So you would pay your 20% to EXP, and then whatever is left off that, we would take 50% because we provided you the lead. Yep. Okay. And once again, it's one of those things where we're not trying to make a ton of money off this. Obviously, some people, they look at 50%. I've had some people like, well, 50%, that's a lot. I'm like, yeah, but it's a lead that you didn't have. You know, and it's the same thing as you're paying OpCity or Zillow Flex or whatever it is. You know, it's a lead that you didn't have. And what, like I said before, if it's self-generated, if it's your friend, family, whatever, and from your sphere, we're not taking anything. We're still giving you the brand and the look and everything that else comes with it. So.
What are you guys doing for prospecting for these leads? Are you leveraging like Make It Rain? Are you paying for lead generation programs for the team to be able to feed them?
Yep. So, and when Bobby comes on, he'll talk a little bit more about it, but the platform that we've kind of landed on, and he took the reins on this to try to find the best lead gen platform that was out there. I know a lot of people are using Zillow Flex. I know a lot of people do Realtor.com. We still offer OpCity, and we're doing HomeLight as well. If you guys aren't utilizing HomeLight, that's a really big lead source. It takes a little upfront work because they make you load all of your past sales in there. but load all your past sales in there, and then they will start sending you referrals. And they're free, but it's like, once again, it's a 30 or 25% referral fee on the back end. So we do all those, but then he came up with this one that he really researched, and they were a newer program or software up and coming. It was called Estate AI. So it's ESTATEAI.com, I believe. And I'll send you the link, or have him send you the link later. But it's a lead generation program where they are running social media ads on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok for us, on behalf of us. And then any leads that they generate go into this other platform where they have an artificial intelligence thing that basically, it's like an artificial intelligence chat box that will take over and basically chat with that client, gauge their, how ready they are. And then at any point, and we can see all this on the dashboard, at any point we can jump in and take over. And they're usually very good leads, and they're pretty much all seller leads. And I see Bobby just jumped on too. Bobby, can you touch on Estate AI a little bit? They were just asking on our lead sources for the team.
Yeah. Hey guys, how we doing?
Hey, Bobby, thanks for doing this.
Oh, no problem at all. Yeah, the Estate AI, I found that, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago. And it was one of those lead gen sources where, because we're all used to trying some at some point in time, and they all turn out to be a waste of time and a waste of money. This one kind of caught my eye because it was all based on seller leads, not on buyer leads. So that was the big thing. And I was like, you know what, let me talk to these people. So I went through their little 30-minute presentation with a gentleman named Jake. And he really answered all the right questions. He did not give me a wrong answer. At the end of it, I told him, I said, well, unfortunately, you gave me too many good answers. So I don't think this one's going to fit for me. And then he continues to go on and on. So the cool part is there was a money back guarantee. So it was 10 listing leads in the first 6 months, or you get your money back. And, it wasn't cheap. So it was a one-time payment of like $6,100, or you could pay $1,495 a month. So I was like, okay, well, we had a good month. I was like, let's try it, because I want to start giving more valuable leads out to our team, as opposed to having them, run around in circles chasing buyer leads. So a couple weeks into the program, I had one listing appointment within 2 weeks. And I had 9 leads that came all in within those 2 weeks, half of which were carrying on conversations with me. One I landed that day. She had me come out to her house, and she signed the listing docs right there. So we closed on that one 2 weeks ago. And then she, of course, turned into a buyer who ended up buying a house that I had from another seller. It just worked out very well. And then I got another listing agreement signed 2 weeks ago. So a month into the program. 2 signed. It's currently active. Do I think it was worth it for us, for our team, with what we do in our area? Every penny of it. Every penny of it was worth it. I'm part of the set schedule. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that as well. I hate it.
Just started.
Laura, what's your experience with it?
I just signed up with them a few weeks ago, and we've been getting quite a few leads. I think we've had 15 or 20 in the last week and a half, but they're not really responsive.
Yep, exactly. So that was one of the ones where I just kind of chalked it up as, live and learn. I tried it. Didn't really work all that well. So I kind of just was like, you're gone. But then, like I said, I came across that Estate AI, and it's doing very, very well for us, especially with the way that we structure our team.
And so for your guys' team, you came up, I know that a team agreement isn't a necessity when you are doing self-organized, apparently, but it sounds like from what Robbie had said, you guys did come up with a team agreement. How did you develop that agreement, like the verbiage of the agreement?
So the verbiage for the agreement, I stole it from Mark Z. So I called Kurt and I said, Kurt, I need a team agreement so I can kind of pick and choose tidbits out of it. So, because I know yours has gone through lawyers, the whole 9. And so he just sent me over his team agreement. And then I went through the whole thing, and we really just kind of picked and choose what pieces of it we were going to need. based on how we're running our team, because they're obviously a mega icon team. So it's going to be slightly different than us being a self-organized team. And then, Robbie and I, we came up with 2 different versions. Version 1, we've now retired, and we've moved on to version 2, because the way that we run this team, it was when the concept first came in, it was never I wanted to make this big mega icon team, right? All I wanted to do was create a culture within the groups that decided they wanted to run with what I was doing, how I was designing things, the look and feel of everything that I wanted to do. Not once did I ever really consider about making money from my team. So then fast forward, Robbie and I have now really been able to structure how our team works. So, the long and the short of it, Robbie said you guys just kind of wanted to know how we did it. We don't charge our team members a percentage on every deal. So we charge them $500 to join. With that, they get access to our office. They get access to yard signs. We buy them 3 rider signs with their name and phone numbers on them. Because with the team, I really wanted, when we put a yard sign out, I wanted it to stick out. I wanted people to be like, we know exactly who that is. So we did the name rider signs. They can come into the office and get pendings for sales, anything like that, anytime they need them. I order them their custom business cards. Calvary just came in. So I ordered them their custom business cards and any marketing material that they need, just kind of designed or whipped up real quick. Got that all set up for them. I made a bunch of different templates inside of Canva. So I have a pretty unique cover page for when writing offers. So they have access to that template as well. It's really just setting them up for success. Then if they have any leads that they're working on their own, like they didn't come directly from me, they didn't come from Robbie or anybody else on the team, they keep all of their money, right? Because we didn't help them procure that client. They did that all on their own. So then if we give them a buyer lead and they're able to make that happen, then they owe the team a 25% referral. If we give them a seller lead, they then owe the team a 50% referral. Then any subsequent lead that comes from something that we gave them is 25% for the next 3 years. So if we give them the seller lead, the seller sells their house. Well, what sellers normally have to go buy something, right? So we've already put them in the position to now where they have a buyer, 25%. Let's say they buy that house and in a year later, they're like, we don't like it, we want to sell it. Okay, it's still only 25%. So anything subsequential from the leads we give them, whether it's buyer or seller, just stays 25% for those 3 years. Now with that, Gogo actually yelled at me, when I was talking to her about this concept we had, because I'm not going to keep track of it, right? We're going to give out so many leads. I'm not keeping track of each one of those. I'm leaving it up to my team with a trust factor. I know that I can trust the people on my team with anything. If they're going to try to stick us out of 25% on something that we put in their hands, you wouldn't be part of the team.
Yep. And I agree. I like that. And I agree with that. I like too that you guys don't take a percentage from leads they procure, because I felt similarly with mine as well. Somebody wanted in. I felt similarly, like I don't want to be taking from them on stuff that they're going out and chasing after those leads. And I'm not a babysitter. I don't want to be someone's babysitter. And so I feel the same as you do about that. Like, I don't want to have to keep track of it. I want it to be on an honorary system, and maybe that would change. And maybe you guys will find it changes too, as you guys get bigger. If you continue to grow bigger and bigger, maybe it'll change. But I feel like we're in a business and we're all adults. Babysit yourselves and be accountable,
So there's this fine line that, when there's this fine line that I found that is like, okay, well, the reason I came to EXP was because there was more opportunity. The fees were lower. I came from a 60-40 or 70-30 split at a boutique brokerage. And so that was the reason I came over. So the philosophy of a team always was just negative for me, because it was like, I just don't want a nickel and dime agents. I understand different types of teams, and like the Mark Z team. I mean, that to me, it's more like, I mean, obviously they're successful and everything's great, but to me, that's not really being an agent. Like if I wanted to be an agent on that team, that's, to me, that's a 9-to-5 job. Yeah, you're going to make a lot of money, but it's a 9-to-5 job. It's not really being an agent. Like you're just, everything's being spoon fed to you. Go here, do this, you know what I mean? So it's not that entrepreneurial mindset of when you're on a mega team like that. So when we started the team, I kept that in mind of like, okay, we're still going to give them an 80-20 split. It's just 80-20. If we give you anything more than that, it's now we're going to charge you, right? Because that's, but we only did that because everybody's like, oh, you have a team, you have to give some sort of value. You have to produce leads, you have to do all this stuff. And we're like, okay, so let's do that. So there was just this fine line of being a team, but not really being a team. And that's kind of where I think we fell. And like I said, we're still figuring it out every day. And we just want to create more of that culture, because when I first started at EXP, there's so much opportunity and collaboration that people get lost. They don't know what to do. So having this team where we now can just, when we get a new agent, hey, you need to do this. You need to go here, do this. These are the groups that you want to pay attention to. These are the masterminds you want to be doing, and they can stay focused and plugged in on that. I mean, we give them every single tool to succeed, and if they don't succeed beyond that, I mean, that's on them, and we can't do much with it. And we're learning that, hey, you know, if they don't want to do it, then let's not spend a lot of time on them. Let's move on to somebody who wants it. So that was really the whole idea behind the entire thing.
And another really good piece to that helps seasoned and new agents that have come to this team. Like we had a broker join us 3 months ago. You know, we've got 2 newbies that just came on. Between our 3 team leads, me, Robbie, Eric Ramo, and myself, we're also certified mentors. So when you get these I'm sorry, but kids together that are just getting into the industry, they have a 3-headed monster to reach out to for support. Right. So I met with both of Eric's mentees 2 days ago. You know, I do a mentee training every Friday in the office for all the mentees that are part of our team. You know, it doesn't matter if they're directly my mentee or not. We want to make sure you succeed, period. You know, and that's the most important part. So they've got, like I said, a 3-headed monster to be able to reach out to. And if by chance one of us doesn't know the direction or how to help them, well, of course, now we've got, you know, Gogo. We've got Kurt, we've got Mark, we've got Curtis, we've got all these other people that can, they just step right in and start helping. So having that team structure like that, being the self-organized, the biggest headache that I found of it thus far is keeping your roster up to date with EXP. So as a new person comes in, or I just had somebody leave out of our team a couple weeks ago, I have to send them an updated roster. It is pretty simplistic, simply an email right over to whomever your contact is in the team department. But other than that, I mean, it's just, to us, it made sense. You know, you never know. We're 15 members deep now, and it's been a year. In another year, we might be 45. And if it continues to grow like that, we may look into converting over to a traditional team. Obviously, you're stuck charging that 25% on every deal, or we may keep it, you know, the self-organized team. I don't know. We'll see how our growth goes.
That leads me to another question. And other people, feel free. I don't want to be the hog here, you know, so feel free to jump in if you guys have questions too. But what you mentioned, an agent recently exited your organization or your team. What does the exit look like? Like, are they hitting a benchmark and going, hey, I want to go off on my own? Are they saying, hey, it's just not a good fit? Does that look the same when they're leaving, or is it different dependent on their reason for leaving? How does that work out?
It's quite simple, actually. You know, this particular person had sent me an email, and for her situation, what she needed to have happen actually couldn't have happened with the way that we have things going locally, put it like that. So she got a hold of me, and we had a quick conversation, and I said, you know, that's not a problem. It's like, we're not teaching you to hold you hostage here. We're teaching you so you can grow. you know, and if you feel going this direction is going to be better for your growth, by all means, go do that. We support that, we encourage that. And I just have to update my roster, you know, but for any of the marketing materials that they currently have that belong to Gold Label, well, we need those back. So make sure you drop those back off, you know, but then you have to go rebrand yourself.
My outlook on this whole thing is, and I tell people this all the time, I don't look at Gold Label as something that we have agents join and they're going to be here for 10 years. I look at it as like a launching pad for agents, especially newer agents that need to come in and be a part. Like you hear when you talk to agents and you try to agent attract, you really hear a lot of times like, oh, well, I love my office atmosphere. I love my team meetings and all this. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to bring that. So they can't say we don't have that anymore. So now we have that office atmosphere. We have those team meetings. We have the collaboration. And so I look at it as we can take newer agents or agents that need to be a part of something. They can be a part of it. They can learn the business. They can, be part of a brand and a culture. And then if they want to go expand and do their own thing, then hey, that was great. Like we use it as this launching pad to go start your own thing. Maybe they want to go start their own team, or maybe they want to go a different direction and be a different brand. And I think that's great. So we're constantly replenishing the team with new agents as agents grow and they develop. And I think that's the beauty of EXP, because they're still all in our organization and our downlines so that we can still support them even if they don't want to be a part of the team. So it's just another option and opportunity to offer somebody when presenting the opportunity of EXP.
Are you guys only taking on agents that are in the three of you, your guys' organization, or are you taking on anybody that is like, hey, I want the help. This is where I want to be?
I got that one, Robbie. That one was a very tough decision to wrap your head around, because we have lines that are skewed between our three leads, right? Obviously, Robbie is my sponsor, and then I'm Eric's sponsor. But after that, it just spiders out all over the place. So Robbie and I had a conversation about who and who cannot join our squad. And it's very simple. If we don't feel like they're going to be a good fit for the way that we work, the way that we follow up, the way that we're punctual, so on and so forth, well, we're not going to invite you to this culture, right? Because we don't want to bring somebody in who they just think they can lollygag and, they're not out promoting it. They're not branding it. They're not talking about it. They're not doing their job. Well, I'm not going to continue to support that, right? I don't want to sound like an ass, but I can't support you if you're not going to help support what we're building. So there's been some agents that have asked about it, and we're kind of like, I don't think Gold Label is going to be the best fit for you.
That makes sense.
Oh, sorry. So I was going to say, obviously, and I get what you're saying, because it's been a little tricky just because. So I was the first one in my county basically to bring EXP to the county. So I had the benefit of being kind of the first one. I brought Bobby in, Bobby brought Eric, and we started this Gold Label thing. So we've had, it's gotten tricky because we've had agents that another EXP agent that was kind of in my downline, but not part of our immediate team, had an agent. So still in my downline, but also wanted to join the team. So really it had nothing to do with Bobby or Eric. I think that's part of the reason why we're implementing the like the leads that we get paid for is Bobby's putting in a lot of time, Eric's putting in a lot of time, I'm putting in a lot of time, and they should be compensated as well for any work they do in the team. So if it's an agent that's not in their immediate downline, they're still going to be compensated in a little way, and it just won't be that downline compensation that you would get if they left. So we're still figuring parts of this out and trying to work it out, but I get where you think that it could start to get dicey with things like that. So, and I guess maybe in another year, come back and ask the same question and maybe we'll have it better figured out, but I don't know yet.
Yeah. I think it was a great answer, actually. I mean, I think that's a great answering that. So I have another one. I've got like all the questions. Ashley, Laura, everybody here. I can't see everybody's name, so I can see the two of you. So please chime in. But so when you guys are getting those leads, are you, Bobby or Robbie or Eric, you're signed up with that program, you're getting the lead, then you're delegating it to your team. like OpCity, we have to, like, if I pull that lead, that's the one I'm familiar with. If I pull that lead and I take it, I have to submit the paperwork. So are you then on the agent's contract and submitting it to OpCity then for them so that OpCity stays in the loop, or with Estate AI or whatever?
Very simple. We have a referral agreement. And if it's a lead that we know we're giving out to one of our team members, the referral agreement goes with it. So then, like, let's say it's a 25%, right? Then that agent is going to put down Robert Cabaz at 12.5, Robert Hall at 12.5. So we're both getting that referral. So it actually adds to our, our cap, and it adds towards Icon. And then if it's the 50%, same thing. 25% to Robbie, 25% to me. And then what we do is we just take what's left, so what we got paid, and we're dumping that into a separate bank account. And that's what we use to fund our events, fund our customer appreciation events, get more marketing materials, run ads, obviously pay for the softwares that we use. That's how we keep track of it. I've also implemented another team member who, she doesn't specifically want to sell real estate right now. She's a registered nurse, so COVID put her into overdrive with what she had to do for her job. But she ended up running a call center from her house for the last 2 years. I said, I have got the perfect spot for Tina to be. So I had her come in, I showed her the software, I showed her the program, and I showed her how I actually wanted her to do it. So now we pay her 10% on every closed deal. So she'll go through all of the leads, she'll nurture the leads, and once she gets an appointment set up, she'll call me or call Robbie and say, hey, I got an appointment set up. Who do we want to give this to? Right? Because we have agents all the way from Shelby Township, all the way to Emmett, and then up into Lexington, and then of course everywhere in between. So if it's a Shelby lead that comes in, or like say it's a Wales Township lead that comes in, we're going to send that one out to Eric.
You guys aren't from Michigan. That's like I would say a 40 to 50 mile radius. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know none of you guys were from Michigan. But yeah, so we have agents all over the place, right? Within that 40 to 50 mile radius. And Tina will then go through and filter everything and message the leads, call the leads, nurture them. Once she gets that appointment set up, we go close the appointment. Then once we got that appointment closed, when the house closes, she made 10%, from the agent's gross commission. That's how we pay her to do what she's doing.
So let's do an OpCity example, because that's so, I feel like that's so much for me to wrap my brain around. So an OpCity example, let's say, Bobby, you get a lead from OpCity. OpCity takes, let's say it's 35% for that, right? So they're taking 35%. And then the agent would have EXPs 20%. And then if you're referring that to the agent, they would then, if it's buyer, they'd then have your, let's do seller. If it's a seller lead, they then have 50% too.
Well, see, that's where the difference comes in. So the way that OpCity works, doesn't matter who works that lead. Doesn't matter, whether it's a seller or a buyer lead, it's just 35%. If it's over 150,000, it's 30 or 35%. If it's under 150,000, it's 30%. That has to be paid to OpCity. With the Estate AI software that I paid for, there is no referral fee in there. I just paid the money up front. Right. So that's where I'm able to set up whatever type of commission structure or referral structure that we want to charge the agents that we're giving these leads to. Right. So we essentially are becoming the OpCity.
I think that was probably my fault, Bobby. I think she was confused as I mentioned OpCity earlier. What I meant by OpCity is that it's just something that we offer. If I'm presenting the opportunity to somebody, OpCity is, I'm just so used to saying OpCity is like, oh yeah, by the way, we're giving you leads from OpCity. Da, 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 da. So they're going to get set up with obviously their own OpCity account. We're not taking any referral fee from the OpCity one. Obviously, it's already a big referral. So something like that, no, we're not taking a referral on.
Got you. Thank you. That answers it, because I was like, man, they're going to be negative before long here, and then if
yeah, no,
10%, like that agent's negative like 5% at this point. Okay.
Here you go. You guys just paid $5. Thank you.
yeah. Good work working that. Sorry it took you 3 months, but here's your commission check of $2.
Hey, can I ask you guys about estate AI while we're on it? With the 10 leads that you guys are guaranteed for the $6,100 that you paid up front, are those just, they're saying they're gonna give you 10 leads, like names and numbers, or are they saying you're gonna be able to set 10 appointments for
10
that?
appointments.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And the way that they have their CRM set up, I'm a tech nerd, right? So I do coding and designing and all that kind of fun stuff. The way that they have this thing set up, I am overly impressed. There's even an artificial intelligence bot. They call her Sarah. And when a lead is dumped into my pipeline from the ads that they run in my social media networks, she pops right in and starts the conversation. I sat there and watched this, bot have probably a 30 thread conversation with a potential seller.
Wow.
And there wasn't a single line where their response was like, I was like, wait a minute, that didn't make sense to say that. But no, it's so intelligent the way that they've got this thing set up, and I can watch those conversations real time. So if I want to jump into the conversation, I just log into my dashboard, hit kill switch, that turns off Sarah, and then now I'm carrying on the conversation. So that's where Tina comes into play. So she'll monitor these as they come in, and she'll see the conversations real time. And then she just jumps in whenever she feels it's the right time. Okay, let's get this appointment set up.
Okay, so do you kind of just take over and say, hey, this is me now? I'm
You know what?
call, or
If you'd like, you guys care if I share my screen real quick?
no, that'd be awesome.
Yep, I just gave you permissions to do so.
Okay. Nope, get out of my way. So this is the page where it shows all of the opportunities that I currently have. So I have 45 new leads that have come in the last 3 weeks. The call 2, call 3, call 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's just how many times they want you to keep calling. Obviously, we all know that because nobody's going to say yes on the first phone call. Then they have the not interested in bad leads, and then the closed, booked appointments, like this guy here tomorrow. He's out in Wales Township, and it's $500,000 house. So I finally got him to agree to let me come out to the property, let me tour it, let me give you your valuation report, and let's actually talk about what steps you should take so we can maximize the value of your house. So when I go through all these, we can assign them to different team members. Like Kristen's got that one, I got that one, so on and so forth. But if we go into our conversations, okay, so like Larry Wierzinski here. So the bot starts off with, hey, this is me. We saw this, and is this you? Well, he says, yes, but I changed my mind. Then, of course, Sarah says, great, working on your free home estimate now. But then he says he's not really interested. He says he was curious. Well, if you're curious, you clicked on the ad and you gave me your information. I'm not going to let this guy go that easily. So now I've put him into my schedule to get a hold of him every week until he decides he wants to sell his house. So this one where it says, I'm sorry, I popped in and took over the conversation.
Okay.
And then, as I will get that guy to sell his house. Susan's another example. We'll fetch the older messages. So the conversation began, they didn't respond, but they did set an appointment with me because the users could actually set an appointment as well. So when she set the appointment, I was like, okay, so I'm going to drive all the way out to Avoca, about a 30-minute drive. Hopefully she'll be there. And she was. So then I brought the estimate with me, but you can see that you can call right through it just like we can on KV Core. It's got your own voicemail set up, the whole 9. And then that's the house that I currently have listed right now out in Avoca. So then it shows you your seller, your pipeline. Remember, these are all sellers. They're not buyers. So working them is that much more fun because now all you got to do is convince them to sell their house. instead of trying to find a needle in a haystack searching for it. But I've had 91 leads since joining the program. They attach a $7,000 value to each lead. But it gives you all your breakdown, all your analytics, all that other fun stuff. But yeah, it is one hell of a program, worth every penny of it to me.
Nice, thank you.
How are you determining what team member you're giving? Is it like round robin kind of thing? How do you determine who on your team is going to get that lead?
It depends. It depends on the lead. Where the lead is located is number one, right? Because I'm not going to give a lead that's in Lexington, which is 20 minutes from where Robbie and I are, to Jordan, who is 35, 40 minutes the other direction, right? Because now that lead is an hour from her. So we will kind of pick and choose who gets what. If we know it's going to be a tough one, you know, we'll give it to who we know can get out there and close the lead. If we're like, oh, this is a drop in a hat, you know, we might give that to one of the newer agents. You know, and obviously if there's like $400,000 or $500,000, $600,000 leads, yeah, we're going to handle those. We'll take care of those ones. You know, but me and Robbie, we're going to tag team everyone that we do, right? Because we're paying for the software, we're paying for the program. So if we handle the lead, half to me, half to him. Simple. We, you know, because there's some agents on the squad that when I give them a lead that I know is going to take that extra step, no, I have other people on the team that I know that lead will work well with. If it's, like I said, a drop in the hat lead where I know it's just boom, you're going to sign a listing contract and you're just going to list their house. Well, we'll give that to the less strong agents as far as trying to close out the lead. And then that helps them get that confidence up. And of course, we are there to go with them. So we just kind of pick and choose, not a round robin. We kind of know who we want to work what.
We're also looking at the people that are showing up, you know, the people that are implementing what we're telling them to do. And we want to reward those people with the good leads, and the people that aren't showing up and they want to fight us on stuff and they're not doing the trainings, they're not doing this. It's like, I'm not going to give you a lead, like if you clearly don't want it. So the people that are showing up consistently, coming to the team meetings, implementing what we're giving them and telling them what to do, obviously we're going to reward those people first before anybody else. So, and they're all aware of this. I mean, this is nothing, you know what I mean? We let them know this is how we're doing things, and which to them should be more incentive to show up to implement, and which will only help their business grow. And yeah, so it's kind of we're still very new to this whole thing. We're trying to figure it out. I mean, I think the self-organized team is kind of the new and up and coming thing with EXP. I mean, there's the standard obviously in Mega, and there's kind of all these people that want to do this team thing, but they don't really want to do the standard. So I think you're going to start seeing more of the self-organized concept. And that's why there's not a lot of like feedback when you're looking for help on this stuff. There's not a lot of people out there that can actually talk on it and help, because it just hasn't been done that much. But with the way EXP works, I think this self-organized is really going to be a popular way to go for a lot of people.
I think
I
so
agree.
too.
I think that, oh, can you hear me? I joined EXP last summer, and I have 5 agents on my team now. I'm self-organized as well. I make my splits. They start out at 50-50 with all transactions, and then they're on a sliding scale. And if they list a property from their sphere or their family or friends, then they'll get a 40%. So, and I take that split before EXP. So I take the 50%, split 50-50, and then EXP takes their 20%.
I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't know that either. Laura, how do you put that then in Sky Slope for you to get the cut beforehand?
Yep. So it just has on the bottom of Sky Slope, and I don't do this, one of my admins does, but there's a place where you can put the percentage for each transaction. I can probably get you a screenshot of that. So like Heather, she'll get, she's at 55% right now. And then I'll have 45%, but all my new ones start at 50-50.
How do you determine your sliding scale?
I've had teams for years, and I think 50-50 is a good place to start. And then having a team, I think we're constantly evolving, always changing things. Every year I reevaluate. If someone has done quite a few transactions, I'll definitely bump them up or give them a bonus along the way. But I pay for the leads. HomeLight, we get a lot of leads from them. I do have some Zillow leads, but not many anymore. And a lot of my leads comes from past clients and referrals. So they're getting a lot of leads. I mean, it's many times they get a phone call and they close a house and they showed it once and spent 5 hours on it and made several $1,000s. So they're happy with the plan we have in place. And I'm happy to share any of that with you. We have it all broken down. We've got the team agreements, a master team agreement, and then I have the breakdown of like what it looks like for you to join Laura's real estate group, what it looks like for you to join Next Level Circle with EXP, that's my organization, and then what it would look like if you would join like Remax typically, or
I would
Century
like
21.
to see that if you don't mind sharing. I'd love to.
Yeah.
For sure. We created it in Canva, so I'll send you the PDF, but if you want me to, I'll put it in the frontline chat. And if you want the actual link to Canva to customize it, I'll send you that too.
I also have a question for you. So you mentioned, you have your real estate team, and then you also have a kind of a sub brand for your entire organization. So can you, like, what are the differences? Are you still, what kind of values are you giving for the organization? Because this is something I'm toying around with as well. Just because obviously not everybody wants to join our team, but I still want to give value providing they're in my organization and my downline. So can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. And I have that all in writing too that I can share. The differences between the two options. I've been running some ads to get people on Laura's real estate group, my local team, but I'm hoping that some people won't want to be part of that and then just join my organization and be a mentor to them. But I've been in business for 27 years as a top agent, so they're getting all of my resources, my tools, my systems, my mentoring. I've got a beautiful office that they can use if they're on Laura's real estate group. So yeah, I can send that in the chat too, the breakdowns of the differences.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
What are your guys' office overheads look like? Because that's one thing I'm like about. Like, do I go and get an office for this team? Do I not get an office for this team? I feel like it adds a significant amount to overhead.
It does. There's expenses for sure, but I bought an office building because I didn't want to work from home. And I was a partner at Century 21 for many years before, so we had locations. So I couldn't not have a location.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'm just trying to determine still, here, there is one gentleman who's EXP. He's been EXP quite a bit longer than I have. And he has an office building and he's always like, you can rent out space out of here if you want. And so I'm just like, do I do that? Do I not? Do I just not do it at all? I know GoGo has people just come and meet at her house, which I would be opposed to either. But yeah, I think that's such a hard decision to make.
I think GoGo was in the process of getting actual space in her area, her downtown area. I don't know if she's done it yet, but I know she was looking at it.
Stopped the process.
Oh, really?
The last update I saw from her on Instagram was that she stopped because of the move to Florida and stuff. I honestly, when she was doing it, I was like, this girl is crazy. Like, she just, I don't know how she does it. She just must never sleep.
Yeah. So I'll just say Bobby had purchased a building. So before Bobby was in real estate, he owned a photography company that specialized in real estate photography, basically. So he's been in the industry for a long time, and he recently had a partner that did the video side, so they needed more space. So they brought, I don't know why I'm telling the story, Bobby. Why don't you tell the story?
I was like, he was doing good with it, so I was just gonna let you know.
Probably makes more sense for you to tell us. Yeah.
9 years ago, I started doing real estate photography. I still do. We still own and operate that company. 2.5 years ago, obviously, I was already shooting for Robbie, and he had this young kid with him who was doing a lot of his video work. Well, I always knew I had to offer video in the business. I just don't like doing it at all. Like, this right here is about as close as I'm gonna get to video. But Josh was very, very good at it. So he came over and we had a little beer in my pole barn, 45-minute conversation, and we formed Perspective. So it's Perspective Media. And he was renting an office just out of an office suite per se. A buddy of ours owned the building, and that's where we started working together in this one little 8x11 office. And with the amount of equipment and stuff we had, that just wasn't going to work. So we convinced him to renovate another part of that office so we would have more space. And then I'm looking at it like, we're paying $750 a month to rent something it's so small, right? So then I started searching for a space for us to be in strictly as Perspective Media. Then somebody convinced me to go get a real estate license. And I'm like, why do I want to do that? I love shooting houses. And then I sold my first house and I said, why am I still shooting houses? I should be selling houses. But no, in that part of my business is still growing exponentially. So when I bought the building, it's right on our main road that goes through Port Huron. And we get 40,000 cars that drive by it a day. So that was the importance of it to me, because with EXP here, Robbie was number 1, I was number 4, and now we have, I think, 42. And everybody always told us it would never work here. But yeah, it does. Every single time you drive down Pine Grove, you're going to see the EXP sign, you're going to see the Perspective Media sign. So that's kind of how we evolved into that office space. So in my building, it's 2 floors. I put Perspective Media upstairs, and I have us at EXP on the lower level. The only problem is there's 2 dedicated office. Robbie's sitting in his right now. Mine's across the hall from him. And then we have a small conference area with extra space out front that I'm actually setting a podcast studio up in for the agents to be able to utilize. We're out of space, right? It happens so fast. You know, I made this team a thought in, what do you think, Robbie? June, July of 2020?
Yeah.
It was a thought. And I kept playing with the concept. And then I finally convinced Robbie to do it. And he was like, okay, I see how this is going to work. And so in a year, it was basically January till now, we went from me and Rob to 15 team members, and we are out of space. So now we're expanding what we're looking for to keep this building as kind of a satellite office and either lease or go buy more space, because we'll double by the end of this year with Gold Label. And we do that, there's no space in there. So to answer your question, Anastasia, about, you know, the overhead cost for it, it's going to be different, because with where we're at, my building cost me $1,300 a month with utilities, you know, insurances and everything else. With where you're at, that could be astronomically different. We live in a low range around here, so it just kind of works. But you have to figure out, my suggestion is just find out if it fits for you. If it fits, like Steve Harvey says, jump. Just jump, go do it. And if it doesn't work, you know, you wasted a few $1,000. But I think from what Robbie was telling me prior to jumping on here, you're gonna blow that out of the water. So you're not gonna have to worry about that.
Yeah, that's the hope. I have a hard question for you guys, for Laura too. I'd like your guys' input. And if you don't feel comfortable answering it, no problem with that. But the hard question is, how long do you think, and I realize, you know, you guys have been doing this now a little while, same with Laura. How long do you think it took you to actually be profitable in having the team? In the beginning, it's probably not real profitable. Yeah.
Can I go?
Yeah, please.
1 month.
How was it?
Took 1 month.
Even looking at spending, you know, $6,000 on estate AI, and, you know, it only took you 1 month to be profitable?
Without question.
Okay.
I've had a team for a very long time. Right now, since I made the move from Century 21 to EXP, I have a newer team. I had 1 agent that came over with me, and I have 4 new agents, but it didn't take very long to be profitable either.
Really? Okay. See, that's like my biggest fear is, and I mean, I'm one of the, like, it sounds like Robbie probably told you a little bit, Bobby, but I'm definitely like I don't talk about it, I be about it. Like if I think something, I'm on it. I'm gonna, somebody says jump, I'm gonna say how high and I'm gonna do it. But that has been my one hang up is, am I going to not do, like, am I going to be really behind and trying to like catch up?
Not at all. It's all about tracking, like everything else. And I have spreadsheets like based off of what people sell and how much they sell and what the team makes and what the agent makes. And I look at that every year and I review it before I renew contracts. But, you know, as long as your expenses aren't crazy, you'll be fine. I think it's great. I love having agents to be able to refer business to, like if I have a listing, then I don't have to work with buyer too. And then you eliminate that dual representation, which is super nice. And you think about it, whenever you refer something out or when they sell something, you really didn't do any work. Well, sometimes you do, but you know, it's not like you're making that back. And I think quickly, I think it's really worth it. And it creates a lot of balance.
Well, and
Also for you, I was going to say also for you as a team leader too, because I'm looking to I don't want to work with buyers anymore. I'm completely sick of working with buyers, which I'm sure you are as well. And when you talk to like some of my mentors, like one of the first things they're going to tell you is you need to give up your buy side business. And so with a team, it's been actually way easier because we have these newer agents that are just so hungry and willing to learn, get experience, and go out there and show houses. You know, in my time of showing 20 houses in a day, like I'm not doing that anymore. Like my time is better spent doing something else. So it's so much easier when I get a buyer to just hand it off to this person and say, hey, I'm going to give you, you know, whether I give them, depending on who the buyer is and what I want them to do, I may just pay them 10% to open the door and say, hey, you know, go show 10 houses. I'm going to give you 10%. I'm going to still handle the actual transaction. I'm doing the negotiating. I'm going to write the contract. I'm going to do all that. But I don't have to spend 4 hours of 5 hours of my day opening doors for these people. So that is, and then if it's something that they really need more experience, I might just give it to them completely and take a 30% or 25% fee or whatever it is. But it's way beneficial to you too. It's like these people need help. They need experience on showing homes, and you have the buyers that you don't want to work with anymore. So you're just going to kind of hand them off. So it's going to be, and then you benefit downline, you benefit with the, you know, with the, if you're going to give them the 25% fee. And when you look at what your hourly wage is, it's not best spent opening the doors. So.
Absolutely.
For a while. That's been part of the problem is it's, and I feel like I'm, you know, in a way I feel like I've been doing a disservice to my buyers because I am, you know, kind of shying away from taking on buyers unless it's like again, you know, somebody who's like a personal referral to me. But then I also am just like, I don't have the bandwidth for well, maybe I want to put an offer, maybe I don't, you know, I'm like, are we not doing this? Like my hourly rate is too much for me, this to be profitable for me anymore. Yep. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think you have to focus in on your zone of genius. And I mostly work with sellers and listings. And once in a while I'll work with a buyer, and then it's fun because I don't do it very often.
Yeah, I could see that, you know, just kind of tossing a few in here or there.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you want to get outside when it's nice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys answered most of my questions. Does anybody else have questions? I feel like I have the show for sure today.
No, that was awesome. Thank you guys.
I got 2 questions. This is for all of you except Robbie, because Robbie's in my office, so I can just do his whenever. I actually started a new podcast called Whiskey and Winners, and I want to have every one of you winners on my show. So that would be awesome.
I'm game. Reach out to me, Bobby. I love doing that stuff. I just started really focusing in this year on YouTube. So I'd love to. Hit me up. Let's connect.
Yep, absolutely. Ashley, I just sent you a request on Facebook because I don't have you yet. If you need more info on the estate AI, we can connect afterwards so we won't take up everybody's time, but it seemed like you had a lot of interest in it. And then I can really break it down to you on how the whole thing works. Likewise with any of the other ones. If you really want to know the ins and the outs of it, I'd love to tell you all about it. So one of the best parts about it is they actually give us a referral fee. So for once you're part of the program and you stick with it, they pay you for every person that you bring in.
That's good.
You guys give a lot of great information. I really appreciate it. I'd love to connect with you guys. I'm kind of starting stages of possibly, going that route, building a team, building it out, or I was going to join one, but I feel like I have a lot to offer where it would make sense for me to make one if I'm recruiting a few people in, which are in the process right now. So just getting your feedback. If you guys are, a year or two into it right now, what are the things popping up, and just, keep in touch definitely with your progress so I could kind of foresee anything in my future.
I think one of the most important parts of working a team is that you have to be flexible, because, in this business, there's no set way to do anything. And I think there's a lot of compromise. So don't feel like you have to have it all figured out right away. You can figure it out as you go too, but have that contract in place.
I agree.
For sure.
Also, don't reinvent the wheel either. Look at what everybody else, especially with this EXP, like our group, look at what these bigger guys are doing. And they're kind of 10 steps ahead of where we are. And so I'm constantly looking at what they're doing. And in our area, especially, is a little slow with the time. So like when something new is happening somewhere else, it really doesn't affect us till maybe a year later, maybe even 2 years later sometimes. Same with the market. So personally, for me, I'm looking at this stuff going, let's do it now, so that when that shift happens, we're already another 10 steps ahead of wherever everybody else wants to be. One guy to follow, if you guys don't follow him already, Kenny Fast out in California, Bay Area. This guy is probably going to be the #1 team in EXP shortly, within the year, I would say. He's doing satellite offices everywhere. The way, just his concept and the way that he is just doing the team thing is like I've never seen before. It's unbelievable. The branding, everything, and all agent centric. His when you look at his actual office space, it's all open air kind of office space, garage doors. They have 10 different things going on at once. He'll have a masseuse in there for his agents. On Thursdays they come in and there's a masseuse in there. They'll do an event almost every single day where somebody's speaking. They do breakout sessions with mastermind groups and parties every night. And it's just like you're building something that people want to be a part of. And I think that's the important thing.
Love that. I'm gonna go find him because that sounds awesome. I don't know that it would take off in my small little county, but I definitely.
What was that name?
Kenny Fast. That's his name on Instagram. His last name is Trung, I think. But just look up Kenny. I think it's Kenny_Fast.
Yep,
on
that's what it
Instagram.
is.
Yep.
Yeah. Really, I mean, the guy is a genius. I mean, he's really good. And even the way he attracts other agents too, he's constantly putting stuff out there that is just like, you almost just have to DM the guy because it's like, what are you talking about? So it's interesting.
That's cool. I'm gonna check him out for sure. I'm gonna go follow him as soon as we're finished up. So yeah. You guys have answered all my questions and some, so I really appreciate everyone this day and joining us.
It was nice chatting with all of you.
Yeah.
You too.
I'll put all those docs in the chat when I get back to the office a little bit.
Awesome, because I'd love to see those too, Laura. Thank you.
For sure. And if you ever need anything else, because I've been doing this a while, so there's a lot of good stuff. So just let me know.
Right on.
Okay.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right, y'all.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Yep.